Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naranjaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatin Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Bhagavate Uttamasloke
Bhaktin Bhavatir Naistiki
Bhaktin Bhavatir Naistiki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devagi Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopakumaraya
Nandagopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, text number 3. So the canto name is The Cosmic Manifestation. The chapter name is Answers by Setting the Lord's Version. So please repeat the sloka behind me. Yarhi vāva mahimni sva
Yarhi vāva mahimni sva
parasmin kāla-māyayoḥ
parasmin kāla-māyayoḥ
rameta gata-sammohas
rameta gata-sammohas
tyaktvodāste tadobhayam
tyaktvodāste tadobhayam.
Word by word meaning. Yarhi,
Yarhi,
at any time.
at any time.
Vāva,
Vāva,
certainly.
certainly.
Mahimni,
Mahimni,
in the glory.
in the glory.
Sway,
Sway
of himself.
of himself.
Parasmin,
Parasmin,
in the supreme.
in the supreme.
Kāla,
Kala,
time.
time.
Māyayoḥ,
Māyayoḥ,
of the material energy.
of the material energy.
Rameta,
Rameta,
enjoys.
enjoys.
Gata-sammohas,
Gata-sammohas,
being freed from the misconceptions.
being freed from the misconception. Taktva,
Giving up.
giving up.
Udaste,
Daste,
in fullness.
in fullness.
Tada,
Ta,
then.
then.
Ubhayam,
Ubhayam,
both.
both.
The misconception of I and mine.
The misconception of I and mine.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhaya Charnavadi A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation, please repeat behind me. As soon as the living entity
As soon as the living entity
becomes situated in his
becomes situated in his
constitutional glory
constitutional glory
and begins to
begins to
enjoy the transcendence
enjoy the transcendence
beyond time and material energy.
beyond time and material energy.
He at once
He at once
gives up the
gives up the
two misconceptions of life,
two misconceptions of life,
I and mine,
I and mine,
and thus
becomes
fully manifested as the pure self.
fully manifested as a pure self.
Purport. The two misconceptions of life, namely I and mine, are verily manifested in two classes of men. In the lower state, the conception of mine is very prominent, and in the higher state, the misconception of I is prominent. In the animal state of life, the misconception of mine is perceivable even in the category of cats and dogs, who fight with one another with the same misconception of mind. In the lower stage of human life, the same misconception is also prominent in the shape of it is my body, it is my house, it is my family, it is my caste, it is my nation, it is my country, and so on. And in the higher stage of speculative knowledge, the same misconception of mine is transformed into I am, or it is all I am, etc. There are many classes of men comprehending the same misconception of I and mine in different colors, but the real significance of I can be realized only when one is situated in the consciousness of I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. This is pure consciousness, and the whole Vedic literatures teaches this conception of life. The misconception of I am the Lord or I am the Supreme is more dangerous than the misconception of mine, although there are sometimes directions in the Vedic literatures to think oneself one with the Lord. That does not mean that one becomes identical with the Lord in every respect. Undoubtedly, there is oneness of the living entity with the Lord in many respects, but ultimately the living entity is subordinate to the Lord, and he is constitutionally meant for satisfy the sense of the Lord. The Lord therefore asks the constitution conditioned souls to surrender unto him. Had the living entities not been subordinate to the supreme will, why would the living entity be asked to surrender? Had the living being been equal in all respects, then why he put under the influence of Maya? We have already discussed many times the material energy is controlled by the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita 9.10 confirms this controlling power of the Lord over the material nature. Can a living entity who claims to be as good as the Supreme Being control of material nature? The foolish, I would reply that he will do so in the future. Even accepting that in the future one will be as good as controller of material nature as the Supreme Being, then why is one now under the control of material nature? The Bhagavad Gita says that one can be freed from the control of material nature by surrendering to the Supreme Lord. But if there is no surrender, then the living entity will never be able to control the material nature. So, one must also give up this misconception of I by practicing the way of devotional service of firmly being situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. A poor man without any employment or occupation may undergo so many troubles in life, but if by chance the same man gets the good service under the government, he at once becomes happy. There is no profit in denying the supremacy of the Lord, who is the controller of all energies, but one should be constitutionally situated in one's own glory, namely to be situated in the pure consciousness of being the eternal servitor of the Lord. In his conditioned life, the living entity is servant of the illusory Maya, and in his liberated state, he is the pure, unqualified servant of the Lord. To become untinged by the modes of material nature in the qualification of entering into the service of the Lord. As long as one is servant of mental concoction, one can be completely free from the disease of I and mine. The supreme truth is uncontaminated by the illusory energy because he is the controller of the energy. The relative truths are apt to be engrossed in illusionary energy. The best process is served, however, when one is directly facing the supreme truth, as when one faces the sun. The sun overheat in the sky is full of light, but when the sun is not in the visible sky, all is in darkness. Similarly, when one is face to face with the Supreme Lord, he is freed from all illusions, and one who is not so in his darkness is illusionary Maya. In the Bhagavad Gita 14.26 confirms this as follows. Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samadhitvaitam brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So the signs of Bhagavad Gita of worshipping the Lord, glorifying the Lord, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source, not from the professional man, but from the person who is Bhagavatam in life, and being always in the association of pure devotees should be adopted in earnestness. One should not be misled by misconception of I and mine. The karmis are fond of the conception of mine, the jnanis are fond of the conception of I, and both of them are unqualified to be free from the bondage of illusionary energy. Srimad Bhagavatam and primarily the Bhagavad Gita are both meant for delivering a person from the misconception of I and mine, and Srila Vyasadeva transcribed them for the deliverance of the fallen souls. The living entity has to be situated in the transcendental position where there is no more influence of time nor of the material energy. In conditioned life, the living entity is subject to the influence of time and in the dream of the past, present, and the future. The mental speculators try to conquer the influence of time by future speculations of being was Vyasadeva or the Supreme Lord himself by means of culturing knowledge and conquering over ego. But the process is not perfect. The perfect process is to accept Lord Vasudeva as the supreme in everything, and the best perfection is culturing knowledge is to surrender unto him because he is the source of everything. Only in that conception can one get rid of the misconception of I and mine. Both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam confirm it. Srila Vyasadeva has specifically contributed to the illusioned living entities, the science of God, and the process of Bhakti Yoga in his great literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the conditioned soul should fully take advantage of this great science. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalake Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Shunyavad Pashashate Shatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So this chapter answered by setting the Lord's version. So Vyasadeva started giving the answer to the questions asked by the Parishit Maharaj and is aligned with the Lord's version. That means whatever Lord says in the Vedas and in Bhagavad Gita, and the answers whatever provided by Srila Vyasadeva also align with that. So that's what mentioned as per this heading of the chapter. And today in this today's sloka, he is saying that when we are leaving the misconception of I and mine and understanding our original position as a servitor, that is our constitutional position. Our constitutional position is to serve the Supreme Lord is the constitutional position. In that situation, when the living entity it is situated, that time the living entities begins the enjoying the transcendence of beyond the time and material energy. Currently, we are in the material world, we are controlled by two things, this time and material energy. These two things are unavoidable. These are only controlling us. So when we are leaving this I and mine, we will be going beyond this time and material energy. Yes, why he is saying in this way? Because of that I and mine, we are again and again getting into this material world. And Prabhupada is explaining that when we are in the lower consciousness, like the animal consciousness, like cats and dogs, if you see, if the cat, it is taking something to eat and it won't allow other cat to eat that. Yes, it is saying that it is mine. And the dog also like that. A dog also, if you see the one entire street, it will cover and it won't allow other dogs to enter in that place and other person also into the place because the dog is thinking that this is my area, this is my place. So this mind is there with the lower animals. So even in the human beings also the mind is there. Oh, this is my property. Nobody should enter. This is mine. This is my car. This is my house. This is mine. Everything it is the mind conception. So the mind conception is there means that is the lower level of consciousness. So the misconception. So because Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Krishna is saying that मयोदक्षेक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय jagat viparitvartate. So here Krishna is saying that this material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kundi, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So the Krishna, he clearly is saying that he is the source of this material nature. This is one of his energy. And under his direction, it is running. So since we have the little momentary independence, we are trying to change that independence. We are utilizing that independence to change whatever Lord is doing. And similarly, we also wanted to do, and we wanted to change whatever Lord is created, whatever Lord set up this material world. So Lord is creation and annihilation. It is under his rule, it is happening. So when a person understands these two things, okay, everything is belongs to the Lord, Supreme Lord. I am just a visitor over here in this material world, nothing nothing mine in this material world. And also in this sloka, there are another word, it is saying that I. So that will be in when the living entity getting into the higher state, that misconception will come. So it is compared with the mind is compared. Mind is with the karmis. The karmis who will think that, always thinking about what I need to do in the future. How can I enjoy this? How can I accumulate this? This is mine. That conception will be there. So they will always think about the future and how to enjoy this material world, how to more and more, how to enjoyment we can do, how can we categorize our own senses. That is the mind conception. And the I conception, that Prabhupada is saying that they will try to take the position of the Supreme Lord. So they will say that I am the Supreme Lord, Agam Brahmasmi. That understanding, that they will come into the conception. So at any cost, whatever activities you are doing, so the people are the currently the scientists are saying that one day I will understand, we will crack that how the death is happening and we will stop the death. Like that, our scientists are challenging. So they're thinking that we will take the position of the God. That is because of their misconception of their own intelligence. They are thinking that they are going to override the Lord's activities, but it is not at all possible to override and overcome. Over means they cannot go beyond the level of the God. So they cannot go to the Lord level also. So that they need to understand. So for that, it will take, for what is required. So that is required. The surrenderness is required. So there in this sloka, in this purport, Prabhupada is writing that when the living entity surrender to the Supreme Lord, understanding that my position is the servitor position, I am the servant of the Supreme Lord. Even Krishna also saying in Bhagavad Gita, the 18.66, Krishna is saying that Sarvadharman parityaja mam yegam sharanam braja. So you surrender unto me only, he is saying that. So, ahamtam sarva papepyo mokshashyami masuchaga. If you surrender like into me, then I will clear all your papas. You don't fear. So that's what Krishna is saying there. The people who are in the material world, more or less, they are in the fear only. So whether what is going to be happening in the future, whether I will be earning more or not, whether I can enjoy the things or not, whether I will get the disease or not, whether I will get the job or not, whether I get this money or not. So always the hankering mode, and also always the living entity in the mode of fearful mood. When a living entity understand his position, constitutional position, I am the servitor of the Supreme Lord. So, for example, if we are under serving under the person, suppose you are working under a person, then what will happen? When you are working under a person, automatically the owner of the owner will take care of the owner will take care of all his whatever the needs, right? If somebody working under a owner, someone working under India, suppose a household work activities they are serving. So the owner will take care of these needs. The owner will feed them, and the owner will give us place to sleep and eat. So all those things the owner will give. But the person, you don't need to worry about where I can sleep, where I will eat, because he is serving there. So for that, the owner will take care of the thing. Similarly, when we are understanding our position is to serve the Supreme Lord, when we started serving the Supreme Lord, all our basic needs will be taken care by the Supreme Lord. So no need to fear or no need to anger for anything. Because whatever is required, automatically Lord will take care. Because Lord is sitting as a Paramatma inside of our heart. He knows what is required for a living entity to be in this material world. All the things He will automatically be provided. So we can see the sannyasis. They are always depend upon the Supreme Lord. And even the Brahmana classes of people, they should be always under the, they will always surrender to the Supreme Lord. They will always, only they need, I need to serve the Supreme Lord. That is the only activities of the Brahmanical quality of the people. So they never hanker for anything. See, they never accumulate anything. Even a Brahmana, they should not accumulate the food for the next time. Suppose they are getting some food, say, excess rice for today, and they have to, because Brahmanical, the Brahmanas, they are allowed to take, to do the, they can go for a begging. They can beg and they can get any vegetables or rice or with groceries, something. So those are, whatever they are getting, they have to consume that on the particular day. If there are any excess, they have to distribute before the sunset. They should not accumulate even that groceries also for the next day. So that is the way the Brahmanas supposed to live, and the sannyasis they are supposed to live. But in the current society, there is no Brahmanical qualities because of the Kali Yuga effect. What is happening? The Brahmanas always, they are, the so-called Brahmanas also, they are saying they are in the accumulation of wealth. And whatever the activities they are doing, the yajna and now earlier, the olden days, they will come and they will invite the Brahmanas to the house to do the yajna and all. So in that yajna, they will give the owner of the house, they will he give, okay, since the Brahmana came, so they will serve the Brahmana with whatever his requirement, like the dress, he will give the dhoti kurta and the dhoti, and give some uh, grains, food grains and vegetables. These are the things they used to give. They won't give money. But in the current scenario, what is happening? They fix the amount. If you want to do Satyanarayana Puja, this much amount. If you want to put this puja, this much amount. Some 20,000, 5,000, 8,000, like that. They fix the amount. So, this is becoming a business. So if it is becoming a business, there won't be effective in the yajna. So that is the reason in the Kali Yuga, this yajna and all not much effective, because we won't get the qualified Brahmana, because the qualified Brahmana, he won't expect anything from the person. So whatever the person, owner is giving, the person is the who invited for the yajna, whatever they are giving, they will accept it. So this is the way they are supposed to live. But the current scenario, it is kind of a, it is a, because of the Kali Yuga effort, they are fixing the amount, this and that. So that yajna are also not much effective. And also people are living in the big apartments. So even in the apartment, if somebody in the, because the apartment is, if you are doing some 10th floor, if you are doing some yajna, there is no touch, because the yajna kunda, it should be in the ground. It should be grounded. So the ground, how it will happen? So they supposed to take the copper wire, and they need to ground it. So then only the effect of the yajna will be there. So the Brahmanas, currently Brahmanas, they are just working for, the so-called Brahmanas, they are working for money. So that whatever the yajna we are doing, there may be some purification, but we won't get the full effect of that yajnas. So it is not recommended in the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga, the recommended is only the Harinama Sankirtana yajna. So even for our satisfaction, we can invite the Brahmanas and we can do the yajna, but that yajna, but beyond that, we need to understand that Sankirtana yajna is more important. So in this Kali Yuga, Sankirtana yajna is more effective. So the Harinama Sankirtana, so that is the Yuga Dharma. So that yajna, if you do, that will be more effective than whatever we are doing the yajna with the fire sacrifices. So that is the way. So why we are discussing about all these things means we are talking about the Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas qualities are, now it is not there. So they are also in the current scenario, they are also contaminated. So the jnanis, they are also in the misconception that I'm going to take the position of the God. In future, the scientists are saying that in the future we will find a solution to stop the death. So in future you may find, you may not find. It is not possible to find out. But what is the current situation? Current situation, you are not as Lord. So that we have to understand that. So always the living entity trying to take the position of the Lord. That is the Lord it over the all the material creation, and also he wanted to take the position of the Lord. So that is the reason again and again, the living entities are taking birth in this material world. So when we are understanding our constitutional position as we are the servant and Lord need to be served, our work is to take care of to serve the senses of the Supreme Lord. So when we are understanding this concept, then automatically all of our problems will go off and Lord will take charge of our life, and then we can understand the blissful life. So currently we are doing the bhakti, we are in the two ways, if your two ways are going, suppose a railway track, there are two parallel lines are going. So like that, one track is one way, one track is like a spiritual path, and another one is a material path. So now currently we kept the legs in the both places. Like materially also, I wanted to have the material because we are not having the full faith on the Supreme Lord, and the spiritual also we want to progress in the spiritual also. So in the both way, so we are trying to progress, but it is a good thing because at least we are trying to progress in the spiritual path also. But over the period of time, so we have to, over the period of time, we have to stop, we have to transfer our consciousness transfer ourselves from the material to spiritual. And we understand, we understand by, actually, at least by theoretically, we understand that our position is to serving the Supreme Lord. But when we are getting when we understand, when we are doing the spiritual progress, when we are continuing the spiritual progress in this way, studying the scriptures, understanding our position, automatically what will happen? Once later point of the time, we will, at least after the age of 50, once we are, our responsibilities of the household or responsibilities of our children or everything is over, then we can full-fledged getting into the path of bhakti. So it is not necessary to leave our whatever our position, but we have to aspire to do the full time, fully dedicated to the Supreme Lord service. So that in this life also, in this life, very life itself, we need to aspire. So for that, we are now itself, we need to practice ourselves, we need to make our mind. So in the one particular point of time, I need to leave all these material activities. So that we should not attach these material activities, so that we can come out from this material activities and we can do the service fullest to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for that, what is the two misconception? I and mine. So if we are currently we have that, even though we are in the spiritual path, we are having that side in one side of our heart, we have that I and my misconception. So we have to leave that, so that we have to try to leave it every day by day, we have to try to leave it, so that we will come to our original constitutional position to serve the Supreme Lord. That's what our Vyasadeva also saying in our Sukadeva Goswami also saying in this sloka, that when we understand our original position, the constitutional position to serving the Supreme Lord, then the misconception will go off, I and mine. So that we will be always in our self. We can understand our position as a servitor and the Supreme Lord is to be served. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.